How's it going out there, everyone? This is W.F.S, your doctor, here today with a question for you. The creator of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, what do you think his reaction, how do you think he would feel about modern day Star Trek? Would he approve of it, or would he dislike it, like so many of us have major problems with the ways Star Trek is represented today? Do you think he would be one of the people on YouTube? Maybe he'd be starting his own YouTube channel, going out there and complaining about the way his baby has been mistreated over the past few decades. All right, so take a look at this. Screen Rant. My favorite place to go to for some of the most insane ideas in the world. If you've been following my channel, you'll know that I've had issues on and off with Screen Rant. But check this one out. Screen Rant, Star Trek quietly has had Kira break Captain Sisko's DS9 record. Okay, this is where things really start getting stupid for me. You know as well as I do that at the end of DS9, Sisko went on to live in a celestial temple, and he would be returning as soon as the prophets were done educating him and he was needed back in the corporeal world. Colonel Kira went on to manage DS9. Now, this is where, as I said, things get stupid, because according to Screen Rant, because they did an episode on Lower Decks at Deep Space Nine, it implies that Kira was still in charge of the station long after the events that took place at the end of DS9. Now, here's where I have my problems. Lower Decks, I don't care what anyone says, it is a parody, it is a spoof, it is a goof on Star Trek. And that is why I asked you before, do you think Gene Roddenberry would have agreed to this or not? He probably would be rolling over in his grave, and if he was alive today, he probably would be screaming up a storm about the way his baby, Star Trek, has been treated over the years. And Lower Decks, at least as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Gene Roddenberry and his vision for Star Trek and a utopian society and his vision for a future, this would be almost like the Antichrist. Lower Decks would be more like an abomination that needs to be exorcised from the canon universe of Star Trek.
Paramount had an idea for a syndicated show, but it really was more or less a group of space cadets running an enterprise. And I said, I just couldn't do that, but let me think about it.
And Gene said, go to hell.
Are you pretending to do a captain's log?
We're all supposed to keep logs.
Okay, let me listen to
No,
it.
go away. Leave me alone.
I can't believe you're wasting your shore leave on this. Ooh, this is the new shuttle with the blast shield. The blast
Stop it.
shield
No,
is the
this
blast
works.
shield. And
Yeah,
it
it
comes
works.
down and
We
it
don't
goes
have
up.
to.
Blast
Stop it.
shield.
Stop it. Idiots.
Now, I want to be fair about this. I don't want this to be one of those videos where I'm just attacking modern day Star Trek, when the truth of the matter is Gene Roddenberry had issues with Star Trek for a long time, starting with the 1982 release, The Wrath of Khan. Gene Roddenberry hated The Wrath of Khan. He hated The Search for Spock. As mind-blowing as that may be to some of you, it appears that in the 1982 film, The Wrath of Khan, Gene Roddenberry went out of his way to sabotage the film because he really did not like the idea of where Star Trek was going. It was supposed to be a utopian society, and instead it was turning into a military service. Everything that Gene had hoped and wanted to express in Star Trek was being taken away from him, and I guess as far as he was concerned, it was all being subverted for political correctness and to try to appease audiences that like Star Wars type action. I mean, let's be honest about it. The reason The Wrath of Khan exists the way it does is because of Star Wars. The motion picture nearly killed off the Star Trek franchise, and with the success of Star Wars, they decided to give it another shot, which is how The Wrath of Khan came along. And it was a massive success for everybody. Everybody loved this film. And The Search for Spock was another great story. But Gene Roddenberry couldn't stand that one because of the way they killed off the Enterprise.
Sir, how do we do that?
I don't know. Just circle around and pretend we're in awe of the pylons.
Yes, sir.
This is supposed to be funny.
Just keep circling.
Okay, you got all that, right? They're circling the pylons. Ooh, just stay in awe of the beautiful pylons. Ooh, okay, and as they circle the station several times, the DS9 music continues to play out. That's not funny. At least I don't think it is. But at the same time, it goes to prove a point of mine. Screen Rant trying so hard to prove that Kira Nerys is still in charge of DS9 and using Lower Decks as proof of it, it doesn't work for me because DS9 was a serious series. It was, yeah, it takes it. It's DS9 was a space science fiction serious show where Lower Decks is just stupidity at its worst. Yes, I know there's going to be people out there arguing that Lower Decks is funny, and there have been some funny episodes. I have to give them credit where credit is due. They have done a good job with certain episodes. But to treat Star Trek the way they have treated it, and then turn around and tell me, oh, we're supposed to take this stupidity seriously, I can't do it. So when Screen Rant goes off on me about, oh, well, this is canon, and that Kira is in charge of the station after the events of DS9, I'm sorry. Using Lower Decks as proof of that is an immediate disqualifier for me.
I was just clearing her tab for old time's sake.
What is on that chip? No, give that to me. Give it to me.
When I think about Lower Decks, Picard, Discovery, I can only think that Gene Roddenberry is doing one thing right now.
Ruin the bastard, my story ruined.
Anyway, I honestly believe Gene Roddenberry would be rolling over in his grave right now because what has happened to his baby over the years. Okay, he had problems with Star Trek, the movies, because of the way that it was taking his utopian society and turning it into a more like a military operation. But what they've done to Star Trek since Discovery and now with Lower Decks and trying to rewrite the history the way they have, I'm pretty sure the man is rolling over in his grave. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on this, so please drop those comments below and let me know. Until the next time, my friends, God bless.